With a subscription to Microsoft 365 Business, you can run your organization in the cloud and let Microsoft take care of the IT for you. It can manage devices, protect against real-world threats, and provide the latest in business software. With a monthly or yearly subscription, you get productivity apps like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, business class communication with Outlook, Teams, and Yammer, cloud storage with OneDrive and SharePoint, plus business apps that help you reach and work with your customers. In addition to all this, you get an upgrade to Windows 10 Pro from Windows 7 Professional or later. You get the tools to update, manage, and protect your computers and devices, including the devices your employees bring to work. You can install Office apps on these devices, safeguard business data, and remove data if a device is compromised. When used together, you can grow your business with the latest cloud software and world-class protection by Microsoft.
Our Monopoly fans definitely keep us honest.
She actually flipped the board.
At Hasbro, we launch dozens of Monopoly games every year, and one thing that is consistent through all of those is testing. We did most of it at our headquarters, but when the pandemic hit, it was just kind of like, how are we going to do that?
Now we have testing through Teams.
It's enabled us to open up to the entire world.
Bonjour la famille. Different cultural backgrounds have a different understanding of a game, so you get more authentic feedback.
You roll those down.
You see boards flipping, but you see also a lot of laughter.
We're getting insights that we didn't used to get, like, does all of this fit on a coffee table?
I think it makes us much more collaborative.
We were able to concept, develop, and launch a game entirely through Teams.
I mean, half the time we used to take. Teams is a new way for us to look at how we go forward in the future.
Modernizing your core business applications and databases with the cloud is key to simplifying operations and reducing costs across various industries. Streamline your migration to Azure by understanding how to navigate its distinct phases and by using the right tools to accelerate the process of moving, managing, and optimizing applications in your cloud environment. In the pre-migration phase, assess your applications to identify their makeup, dependencies, and configuration. Use assessment tools like Azure Migrate to discover insights for planning the migration. During the migration phase, start moving databases and applications from on-premises servers to your cloud destination environment or landing zone. Once you gain confidence, accelerate the process with tools like Azure App Service Migration Assistant and Azure Database Migration Service to evaluate the compatibility and configurations of your applications and automate their migration. Next, in the post-migration phase, apply any changes to your applications and perform functional tests to ensure your environment is working efficiently. Manage and maximize performance with cloud platform services like Azure App Service and Azure SQL Database. Finally, in the optimization phase, gather operations data and identify areas to fine-tune performance and optimize costs. Get personalized security and performance recommendations with management services like Azure Advisor. By using the right tools and knowledge for each phase, you can migrate your databases and applications efficiently and start taking steps to continuously optimize them with built-in CI/CD, auto-scaling, and more. Migrate with confidence by signing up for the Azure Migration Program today.
Thank you, Laylord, for that introduction. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Phil Data, I welcome each one of you in this morning session. Thank you for making your time. Exactly a year ago today, that was a Tuesday last year, we were all sent home, locked down, and we're told that we will be working from home. So in the beginning of that lockdown, a lot of people were so, at some point were excited to be able to work from home, to be able to not drive over the thoroughfare of EDSA or C5 for that matter, or drive the traffic from the south. But for us and for you, that lockdown meant a lot of concerns in terms of security, in terms of enabling our employees in the organization access our data from the infrastructure on premise or from our data center without compromising security of the data. So this morning session was planned with that in mind. We wanted to make sure that our customers are enabled to implement security, to ensure that the data of their respective organizations are protected and secured while enabling our employees to continue working in the comfort of their own home. In field data, we're still working from home. There is no word yet or a final word yet from us in management. How and when are we able to do in person or report to office? So we have implemented a lot of the security things also. So this morning, we have the privilege of having someone share to us best practices around security. And this morning's group of people are chosen because you guys are all in the forefront of securing your individual organizations. So we really hope that our resource for this morning's session, Melvin, he'll be presenting in the comfort of his home base in Malaysia. Ripe is my partner for delivering sessions like this. So we're working with them very, very closely to enable customers like you implement, proactive security measures. Without further ado, I want to say thank you for the partnership. Thank you for the business that you have given to Field Data prior to the pandemic and throughout the pandemic. You have my commitment. You have my commitment that we will see that partnership is going through. You may always reach out to me for anything that would need my attention. I can be reached at eileeng@fieldata.com. I'm 24/7 online, so don't mind the time zone. Thank you and good morning, everyone. Let's learn together. Back to you, Lay.
All right. Yeah. So as to this session, basically I'll be talking to you on a very age-old topic, security, which some might think is a little bit boring, but I'm pretty sure that it is going to be something very important to either end users or even businesses, especially at this time, in the COVID era when everyone is actually working from home. So without delay, I will just try to go through a little bit on the landscape of security. Okay, I'll just skip this one. Okay, so yeah, as you all know that we're currently in an era of unprecedented economic uncertainty, right? And there's a lot of organizations that actually face constrained resources as they actually navigate through new business challenges. And virtually overnight, most of the companies have actually seen the need of the option to accelerate their digital transformation, which also help to ensure workers' productivity and also respond to rapidly shifting customer expectation. So as you know, the technology it actually changes the business model and also the overall landscape that currently keep evolving. And obviously, the way people work has also changed. We no longer expect to access the myriads of corporate resources solely from the office or even on company-owned devices. So in many ways, every company now is you can consider them as a technology company because they are providing services for the customers and employees via either offline and online. And as most of the security teams are actually changed with protecting an ever-growing digital footprint, they are also now being added with the pressure to cut costs, right? And to secure the environment, most organizations must actually develop a new digital capabilities and to break down the data silos. And imagine that the data and the informations are the lifeblood of all this transformation, but at the same time, they're also increasingly attracting the cyber criminals activity. And obviously, in the cyber world, the traditional security approaches have actually failed us, right? You must actually try to ensure a hardened perimeter in terms of the corporate networks, and at best, it is an actually a psychological security blanket. But again, this won't actually hold. As many of you know, the siloed on-premise tools and data sets are also hindering visibility, correlation, and also automations. And adding more to these typical products, it actually makes you less secure due to the compatibility issues and assumption about your whole security coverage. And obviously, on top of all this, and probably perhaps of because of it, the cost and the number of breaches increase every year. So as you know, most of the governments are trying to keep up with the regulatory rules and also constantly changing. And the cost of compliance is also increasing as well. As we know of, there are over 500 regulatory bodies around the world, which also release more than 200 updates a day. So imagine all these updates and keeping up is not that easy. And you have to know what you are complying to, and since you can't be compliant without first being secure, everything starts with security. So taken together, all the trends that we have actually outlined to represent shared challenges to IT security, and most of the organization will actually find themselves responsible for protecting a crisscrossing web of technologies, and many of which they may not be outright owned or even managed. All right, with so many devices, different users group, and also so much corporate data, the traditional perimeter-based security model can't really keep up with the sophistication of today's threat, and neither that can actually provide the visibility and also control that they actually need to secure the world today, because most of the model of working culture now is on a highly distributed and in a hypermobile environment. So we can no longer believe everything behind the corporate firewall is actually safe. So we do need a security model that actually better help to adapt to the reality of the world that we are living in right now. So again, to actually adapt to this new reality, you actually need a new set of principles. Fortunately, the Zero Trust actually provides a modern security framework to help to manage the complexity. And so here's how Microsoft actually committed to a holistic Zero Trust approach. So three main topics: verify explicitly, use least privilege access, and also assuming breach. So the first thing is that rather than you actually trust user or devices implicitly, because they are on the corporate network. So we want to assume that request originates from an uncontrolled network. We should also authenticate and authorize based on all the available data points, including the user identity, the location, device health, service, or workload, and even data classifications and also anomalies. Then on the second, second point is where the use least privileged access. And of course, rather than actually provide any authenticated user broad access to your corporate resources, we should also grant access to people only when they need it. So usually for as long they actually need it and for a specific task at hand. So least privileged access grant just in time and also just enough access. And obviously with the risk-based adaptive policies that protects both data and productivity. And the third point, we assume a breach. So finally, we should actually operate in the expectation that a breach will occur. All right, nobody's actually safe. So you have to assume that there will be a breach occurring any time of the day. All right, so we can actually apply techniques such as the microsegmentations and use real-time analytics to detect all these attacks more quickly. And this always resilient mindset actually helps us to be proactive to soften the impact of breaches when they actually occur. All right. And obviously, we believe in an organization where we will need to embrace a zero trust. We've actually built it into a heart of our products and services. Our integrated solutions offers a built-in zero trust control, so you can actually implement your security model at a scale across the entire digital estate. So yeah, let me just show you how we can actually explore on the Microsoft security technology, which can actually help you on your organization. So actually, by harnessing the power of Microsoft Cloud, we kind of offer customers a security solution that actually cuts through the complexity and also a silent point solution. And this actually empowers the security teams and delivers a frictionless built-in experience so that people can actually get their job done. And we build our technology with all these three foundational elements. The first one being a built-in experience that work across platforms. Right? So your business actually needs to navigate this period of flux, and now more than ever, your employees need to be just as productive from a remote location as they are actually working in an office. And a secure environment actually allows you to ensure that to happen. So we are actually committed to deliver a seamless experience and a built-in protection that works across platform. And our approach to security simplifies the experience for end users and to ensure everyone can get their job done securely, regardless of where they work and which tool they use. And point number two, the AI and automation to secure your future. So tackling a challenge is very much complex as cybercrime requires a continuous innovation and a whole new playbook. So Microsoft security solutions actually arm your team with the ever-evolving cloud scale AI and automation to actually cut through the noise and also eliminate the repetitive tasks, which also enable them to focus quickly and accurately on what that matters. Then on point number three, you have integrated across people, devices, apps, and data. So if we are going to help you to protect your most important assets, our technology actually needs to work in a real world, right? Microsoft solutions integrate across the ecosystem by connecting identities, devices, apps, and clouds to actually help you to close the gap in coverage, which also in turn reduce risk and simplify your portfolio. So these three principles here set the standards for all the security technology that we offer to our customer. And of course, as a standard, we continuously work on to raise. Okay. So as you can see here, this is what I call them as the four pillars of security, something that's very important, which is built into the security model of Microsoft. So we actually within a built-in experiences, intelligence, and integration into a security technology. So this basically shows up in our investment in all these four broad areas. So if you look at the identity and access management, so the vast majority of breaches begins with a compromised password. I'm pretty sure that this is something that is very common to you guys, either through phishing site or even someone who actually accidentally revealed a password to an external party. So these are actually a single weakest link in most security strategies, right? We start with a strong identity and access management to protect our resources. So we also actually most of the customers that I've spoken to, they consistently express their deep concerns about the high volume of data and also alerts, as well as the increasing sophistication and also impact of attacks, which they actually endure every day. Okay, so by prioritizing the integrated and automated threat protection, we help you to meet the demand for advanced security that works in the real world. Right, and our customers also tell us about the difficulties that they have to endure and constantly have to protect and also govern their information. So based on the research, there is at least about 64% of organization that reports that employee accidentally share their PII data and other sensitive business data without encryption. So we have actually made information protection as a priority to protect customer sensitive data wherever it actually live or travel, so you can actually work with confidence. And as most of the enterprise move more of their workloads to the cloud, so it has never been more important to protect your multi-cloud resources. Doesn't matter is actually from Azure, Google Cloud, or even AWS, even from Slack to Salesforce or any vendors that you can actually think of. The security is actually in mind, right? We have actually built a comprehensive cloud security to actually protect every layer of your resources, regardless of any of this cloud and any of these cloud apps that you use daily. Now, this is an example of the Microsoft end-to-end security. So within each of these solution area, you actually need to manage multiple security categories to effectively reduce your risk. So the average enterprise actually employs at least about 30 plus vendors just for the security purposes. And of course, you know that managing that complexity can actually lead to gap in coverage. It will give a limited visibility and also a fragmented experience. So in contrast, Microsoft actually offered a unified approach that leverage both best-in-class depth and breadth. And by bridging these categories all together into one solution that we natively integrates individual layer of security, businesses can actually improve end user experience and also decrease security operation efficiencies, and also reduce the risk of costly data breaches, right? And of course, additionally, we can also help to significantly reduce the procurement costs, right? So all these functionalities that you get from different vendors are actually not cheap. So just to integrate all these functions for multiple vendors will basically cost you a bomb. So we try to actually integrate everything and also at the same time try to reduce the cost. So let me just show you what it may actually look when you actually move to Microsoft security. All right. So on the left, you actually have the average multi-vendor security, the average cost that you actually see based on line list price, and on the right, what you are seeing is a Microsoft security. So to consolidate disparate products and also the vendor with a Microsoft security solution, it not only help you to provide a better security outcomes, it also help you to reduce cost. So let's say if you purchase each individual products, we can estimate it will cost you at least about $30 per user. All right, and based on this, actually based on average list price on the web, and you can also see that like in the Microsoft 365 E3 product, you can actually tap into the Microsoft 365 E5 security, which you only pay about $12 per user at list price. And obviously, there is a savings of up to 60%. And that doesn't just include the potential of additional savings on deployments and also the integration. All right, because if you are using multi-vendors, then you have to spend a lot of time of configuration, deploying the solution, and also doing integrations so that each of these products from different vendors will work. So with Microsoft, you don't really need that because we are building everything into one. Right. So yeah, like I mentioned, we don't just include the capabilities that is listed in most of these multi-vendors example. We also provide additional value such as a threat vulnerability management, end user education, user and identity behavior analytics, and also some fabric tools that is available online. So probably let's dive a little deeper into our security technology and what it can do for your organization. So I guess I will start with the identity and access management. So as I've mentioned earlier, the identity is actually at the foundation of security. You must make sure that you protect your identities to protect your data and resources. So what Microsoft offers is a comprehensive identity and access management platform in the cloud with Azure Active Directory. I'm pretty sure some of you have already heard of this product, the Azure AD, or has already been using it for a while, right? So with the growing importance of mobility and the transition to the cloud, we have actually built identity solutions to help you keep your employees and external users productive and secure while helping your organization stay compliant at the same time protected against the threat. So using our Azure AD, you can actually protect access to resources and data with strong authentication and also risk-based access policies. And it actually provides a fast and easy sign-in experience to keep your users productive, at the same time reducing time managing password and also increase the adoption, right? And it helps to manage your employees and also partner identities from the cloud via a single control plane. Basically, you don't have to manage too many control panel, just to have your users or your external users coming into your work environment to perform certain tasks, right? You can have everything all in one single plane, and this actually improve visibility and control. So, uh, yeah, at the same time, this product also actually help you to ensure that the only right people will get access to the right resources in a timely manner to help you maintain compliance. So based on the Microsoft research, we have actually seen more than like 200% of increase in identity attacks over the past years. And it kind of make it more critical than ever to actually build an identity-driven security practice based upon a strong authentication and intelligent adaptive access policies. So again, passwords are the weakest link in a security chain. So without any additional verification, they are a single point of failure, right? So we strongly believe that if you do just one thing to help you protect yourself, you should actually turn on a multi-factor authentication, or you'd call it as an MFA, which can also prevent 99.9% of the identity attacks. So while enabling this MFA actually to minimize the friction, the user friction, we can ensure the MFA adoption by prompting users for MFA only when necessary through an adaptive access policy. Because like for this conditional access intelligent policy, we actually built in based on a policy engine that's basically for just meant for um, identity authentications, right? This is basically a very robust control which actually allows you to define your specific conditions for how users authenticate, how they gain access to apps and data. And of course, you can customize and manage automated policies and also get reporting on the policies that you have applied on each sign-in. So this conditional access also enable you to enforce the core principles of zero trust, which we have a tagline that says never trust and always verify. Right. So while the Microsoft conditional access protecting the resources from a suspicious request, the Azure AD identity protection goes further by providing ongoing risk detection and remediating suspicious user accounts. So identity protection keeps you informed about suspicious users and also sign-in behavior in your environment 24/7. And identity protection's automatic response also proactively prevents and compromised identities from being abused. So we definitely hone our identity protection engine through machine learning that actually takes more than 71 terabytes of identity-related security signals. So as we have mentioned about MFA, the end user security experience only work when they minimize user friction to ensure wide adoption and also maximum productivity. So when we look at actually a seamless Azure AD, all right? So we want to make sure that all these processes are seamless to users and to businesses. So using seamless Azure AD, the user will experience a start with passwordless authentication to your organization resources. Basically, users never have to touch or even to remember a password, further breaking your exposure to your weakest security link. So passwordless Microsoft authentication experiences includes the Microsoft Authenticator, which is an app that you can actually install on your phone. So for greatest flexibility and for the convenience of the user, so we recommend the Microsoft Authenticator mobile app for your two-factor need, right? The Authenticator also support biometrics such as a fingerprint and also Face ID, push notification, and one-time password for any Azure AD connected app. So you can actually download this authenticator at no cost from either the Apple or the Android app stores. Right, it's free for use as an MFA solution with Azure AD. Then we also have something that is known as the Windows Hello. So this is a great built-in experience on the PC. We actually recommend using Windows Hello because it actually uses your face or fingerprint to actually sign in automatically. So some of these features are actually built in on some hardwares. I think the laptops. Some of you might actually notice that some of these laptops will have a fingerprint sensor, right? So these are one of the hardwares that you can use with this built-in technology on Windows Hello. So once users sign into the computers, your users can actually seamlessly access app that is connected to your Azure AD without using their password. And of course, we also have something called a FIDO 2. FIDO 2 is actually a security keys that's now available from partners like Ubico, Fitian Technologies, HID Globals, in the form of USB and also NFC-enabled badge or biometric keys, right? So we expected that actually there's more than 150 million users that are already using this sort of passwordless authentication, and I trust that this number will continue to grow as they actually embrace the passwordless future. And once they have conveniently verified their identity and authenticated themselves, user will actually need to they basically need a rapid access to the resources to remain productive. It is critical that you provide a consistent access experience, especially if you have a dispersed remote workforce. You can best achieve this experience through a single sign-on, which ensure that the users have a one-click access to all apps that they need without continually signing in and re-entering passwords. So Azure AD will actually further simplifies the user productivity experience by providing an access to portal like My Apps to aid with the application discovery and launch. And a user can actually further customize and optimize their application launch experience by grouping apps into an intuitive collection. So finally, it actually empowers your users to manage their own identity, like updating their security context info, or even resetting the password if you are not yet ready to adopt a passwordless solution. And this helps you to remove a costly dependencies on your help desk and better prioritize your IT workforce. So unified identity management. So as I've already mentioned, the Azure AD simplifies the way you manage and secure your application by providing one identity system for your cloud and also on-premise apps. At the same time, you can also add software as a service applications, on-premise application and line of business apps to Azure AD. So users just need to sign in once securely to access any of these applications. So many of customers also ask, why should you manage your identity from the cloud? Why not on premise, right? So first point, I would say the cloud is more secure. It offers the ability to train models and algorithms, and also provide ways to integrate solutions seamlessly for better security than you can achieve on premise. And point number two, it actually provides a much better user experience with a common and seamless identity across cloud and on-premise. And point number three, it's much a better experience for you as a user and as a business, because with the cloud, you can actually manage all of your user identity from a single screen, just a single portal. You will gain all these features to manage identities. All right. So Azure AD also work across your entire workforce identity infrastructure. So not only you can manage and secure employees, you can also pull information from critical user data stores. Right. You can actually synchronize your on-premise Active Directory identities to Azure AD to enable a common user identity experience and also ensure a consistent access no matter where your users are located. You can also create external identities like partners and contractors so that they can seamlessly collaborate with your users and also access your resources without having to create a shadow account in your directories. And at the same time, when you actually integrate with a popular HR tool like Workday or even SAP SuccessFactors, you can fastly track identity creation upon hire to create a seamless onboarding experience. So basically, access is easy to grant, but it's also very hard to track. Especially like if you have like hundreds of employees or even hundreds of vendors that are actually working together with you. So you actually need the ability to trace who have access and to which resources and quickly revoke access when it's no longer needed. So you should be able to apply this control to both internal and external users. So Azure AD Identity Governance is actually built into the Azure AD, which help to protect, to monitor, and also audit access to critical assets. And specifically, it also help with scenarios like to ensure that only authorized users will have access to, on a based on the policies that is being set, and it provides employees and guest users with a workflow to request access. It also helps to establish a regular access review to validate if users still needed access and establish an effective control with a time-limited access for privileged role assignments. So at this core, the identity governance ensure that right people have the right access to the right resources and also revoke the access when it's no longer required. So the during move leave process to manage the user identities is critical for a greater security and for productivity of the employees and also new hires. Basically, you can automate all this identity lifecycle based on HR events and also write back relevant user data to those HR data stores. You can also automate access to your apps data and such as provisioning and also deprovisioning a user in a SaaS app like SAP SuccessFactors. Now that I've actually shown you on how to actually secure identities and also use authentication, so we can now discuss further on how to secure organization from today's evolving threat landscape with the Microsoft Threat Protection Solutions. So from numerous customer conversation and also our own experience, we actually see three main challenges to securing businesses. So the first point is being that business doesn't have the right security capabilities for a world without perimeters. So employees today can actually work from anywhere and almost on any devices, meaning to say that security must be designed for any users working from anywhere using any device, right? And obviously the businesses also often have a disconnected point solution, which puts puts them on an issue plane where they have to accurately switch their disparate signals together to determine the full scope and also the impact of a threat. This is a correlation that is very tedious and is very difficult and often very ineffective. And the third point is that most organizations also struggle because no matter how much they try to spend on security, they also often do not have the resource that they need to manage this, and they can't really keep pace with the constantly changing landscape. So again, in today's complex organization, the Microsoft industry-leading threat protection solution, it will actually help to defend across modern attack vectors. This threat protection spans across three major areas to actually empowers your organization defenders by putting the right tools and the intelligence in the hand of the right people. So the nature of attack is constantly evolving, and the way that we think about defense must also keep up. right? The first point of being empowering your defenders is that powerful tools, powerful automatic mitigation tools, and also artificial intelligence tools will help to remediate the damage and also block attacks. And by responding to automatically to common threat and breaches, the security professionals and defenders can focus on attack and also the organizational goal. And point number two, where it protects your assets. So Microsoft Threat Protection Solutions defends the modern endpoint, your organizational data, the attack vectors across your business environment. So this also includes user identity, data, devices, infrastructure, and also networks. The protection actually provides an unmatched breadth and scope of the security. Obviously, most of these security professionals also need to gain insights, right? So you can actually leverage against the scalability of and also pattern recognitions that the Microsoft Security will actually offers to you, because what using these solutions that there will be a plane where you have a signal processing to help to detect threats at speed and also keep up with a modern threat environment. And obviously to actually help to reduce the time and also resource used by your security professionals using these control planes that we offer to you, because all these managed security planes are actually backed by analytics, intelligence, and also response tool that empowers your defenders to resolve the threats before they actually cause any issues to your systems. So as I've actually shown you that, to actually help you empower your defenders, the Microsoft Cloud-based threat protection solution actually connects the dots across vectors to deliver rich, actionable insights that actually strengthen your organization security. So it's actually built on an expansive cloud ecosystem that actually powers scalability, pattern recognition, and signal processing to actually detect threats. Right? It also correlates to signal accurately to help you understand how this threat entered your environment, what it affected, how it currently impacts your organization. And it is also backed by a massive volume of threat signal that we process daily to provide meaningful insight. And this correlates signals to determine the full scope and also impact of a threat across your enterprise. So, so our threat protection solution consists of these solutions. First being the threat protection. This is a best-in-class product that enable you to proactively hunt across your Microsoft 365 data to search for breaches, and also to gain a better understanding of your data to build custom detection. And of course, by using remediation tools. And also the threat protection also enable you to visualize and remediate across your environment from a single integrated dashboard. Then we also have the Azure Security Center, right? The ASC basically provides industry-leading threat intelligence to help you gain deep insights into your cloud workloads and also help to protect against threat. And it actually provides a very competitive cloud-native cloud workloads protection platform, either for Windows, for Linux servers, containers, and also serverless workloads that you have widely adopted across the Azure and also hybrid customers. And also at the top, we actually have the Azure Sentinel sitting, where we also recognize in terms of protecting that protecting your enterprise means more than just having insight into threats to your Microsoft assets. You basically need to protect every assets that you have, right? It's all about your data, right? This is the most valuable assets that most organizations have. So many customers actually have security information and event management solution for this very reason. But to actually implement this SIEM, it is not that easy due to their significant on-premise costs and also challenges in prioritizing the large volume of signal that they collect. So this is actually why we actually reimagine the whole SIEM process and the security orchestration, automation, and response tool to introduce Microsoft Azure Sentinel. So yeah, this is a new cloud native solution that provide intelligent security analytics at a cloud scale for your entire enterprise. So this product also makes it easy for you to collect security data that span across your entire hybrid organization. Doesn't matter from what devices, from the terms of users, applications, servers, and also any clouds. Because this product actually use the power of artificial intelligence to ensure that you identify real threats quickly, and at the same time, the Azure Sentinels also offers a limitless cloud scale and speed, and the scale that automatically address your needs in terms of security. So put together all these solution, it actually provide a very comprehensive and end-to-end security across your organization. So by by using the Microsoft Threat Protection, using an integrated tool that actually doing a cross-domain threat detection and also response solution, it provides organization with the ability to prevent, to detect, investigate, and also remediate cross-domain attacks within their 365 Microsoft 365 environment. Right, the threat protection also automatically detects breaches across domains, automating the normalization, analysis, and also correlations process to turn siloed alerts into an end-to-end incidents with context and also timeline of how an attack has entered and also spread across the environment. It also enables you to proactively hunt down these threats across your Microsoft 365 data. And you can also search for breaches and gaining a better understanding of your data to help you build custom detection and remediation tools. So at the point that this threat protection also enables you to visualize and remediate across your Microsoft 365 environment from a single and integrated dashboard. So earlier, I've actually introduced you to myriads of products where most of the integration comes in terms of security for identities that that's being covered by Microsoft is sorry. Sorry about that. So the identity platforms will cover on the planes like the Azure Active Directory, the identity protection, the Azure Advanced Threat Protection, which is we known as the AATP, and also the Microsoft Cloud App Security, the MCAS. And of course, on the endpoint, we also look at the security provided by the Microsoft Defender ADP, which we known as the MDATP. And for application-wise, they are protected by the we are protected by the Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection and also Microsoft Cloud App Security. And in terms of the emails and documents, these are actually secured through the Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection. So again, when you actually integrate all these products, your security parameters becomes even stronger, right? Threat protection leverage raw signals data from individual domains, mostly from user identity, endpoints, applications, emails, and collaboration tools. At the point where they actually normalize the data from the point of creations. So data that is being analyzed and any low-level signal that may actually otherwise be missed, as well as individual alerts that are fused into the incidents, it will actually give a complete view of an attack that can be responded to this control plane. So one thing you should know that most of these products actually contains a very powerful workflow and also an AI auto heal capabilities, which also in turn will help you to self-remediate affected assets and also advanced hunting capabilities. That also means organization can actually use their proprietary knowledge to uncover breaches and also customize their responses. So again, when we look at all these points of attacks and how we actually protect them, we also provide a unified threat investigation experience for identities at a hybrid organization. Right, so from a single dashboard, you can also identify suspicious user activities across on-premise and also cloud events. And then you can also mitigate the users who may be compromised by enforcing a password change policy. And these actually revoke their connections and also applying a conditional access policy. Right, so as on a native protection for Microsoft 365 is actually allowing for a balance between productivity and also security, because one thing is that it safeguard your entire Microsoft 365 environment against malicious threat posed by email messages, links, and collaboration tools. It also defines threat protection policies to set an appropriate level of protection for your organization. It gives you a real-time reports to monitor security. It uses leading edge tools to investigate, to understand and also prevent threats, and even simulate text to learn valuable information about your weaknesses in terms of security. And obviously, it actually helps to save time and also effort when you are investigating and also mitigating this threat with automated investigation and the responses capabilities. So this actually give your end users the flexibility to use apps that they choose without actually compromising security by extending the visibility, auditing, and control that you have on-premise to your cloud applications, because you can actually detect unusual behavior across cloud apps to identify ransomware, discover compromised users, or even rogue applications. You can also analyze high-risk usage and also automatically remediate to the limit risk to your organization. So again, we actually think about security for all of this platform and services before we actually write our first line of codes, right? That's how we actually help to increase the functionality of the Microsoft security protections, right? So Microsoft actually helped to develop a solution for most of the widely used OS platform, productivity suites, the cloud ecosystem across multiple industries. So with security built in, we can actually easily expose threat and prevent them from impacting your organization, and greatly elevate the pressure on your security professionals, which improve their ability to keep your organization safe. So protecting your workload from attacks. So when we are actually looking on the cloud workloads protection, it actually consists of a workload-centric security offerings that actually targets the unique protection requirement of a server workloads in a modern hybrid, a multi-cloud data center architectures. So the Azure Security Center actually provides a competitive cloud-native cloud workload protection platform for Windows and also Linux servers. All right. So some of these capabilities of ASC that we can provide is that it can actually detect and block advanced malware and threats for servers. So by enabling the prevention protection, post-breach detection, automated investigation, and also response for Windows Server with Microsoft Defender ATP for servers. You can also enable preventive protection and post-breach detection for Linux servers as well. So additionally, you can help to block malware and also other unwanted application by applying whitelist recommendation that you adapt to your specific workloads and power through machine learning. So point number two, that protecting the cloud native services from threats. So basically, the security center is expanding. It supports to the container space to one of the Azure's fastest growing services like Azure Kubernetes services. The ASCs also provide discovery and visibility of managed AKS instances. The secure score recommendation and also threat detection for AKS based on a continuous analysis of malicious activities detected at the host and also the AKS cluster level. All right. So AKS basically, this ASC basically helps to also scan container images in the container registry. And also help to do scanning in terms of application level installed in virtual machines that could have vulnerabilities that may lead to a breach. So Security Center standard here now actually includes the Qualys vulnerability assessment built in for no additional cost, right? And this allows you to continuously scan every install application uh, uh, and also review the findings in the security portal. And then when we look at the protecting data services against malicious attacks, this actually helps to monitor and remediate potential vulnerabilities for databases, storage services in Azure IaaS, and also PaaS. It helps to detect and respond to potential threats against data services such as the suspicious database activities, probably in terms of like secure injection attacks, anomalous database access, and also query patterns. So the ASC actually includes a malware reputation screening as a part of the ATP for Azure storage. And the detection is actually based on a hash reputation screening powered by the Microsoft Threat Protection, Microsoft Threat Intelligence. So when the system actually detects a malware, it actually generates a new alerts in the Azure Security Center. And then the ASC will actually includes the advanced threat protection for keywords. So when we actually look at the use of advanced analytics to detect threats across IaaS and also PaaS services, we have a built-in behavioral analytics and also machine learning that can identify attacks and also zero-day exploits. It also helps to monitor networks, machines, and cloud services for known attack patterns and post-breach activity. So these will actually focus on the most critical threat first, prioritize security alerts, and incident maps that throws different types of alerts into a single attack campaign. And when we look at protecting your Azure IoT solutions, right, it actually helps to receive alerts to any respond to any potential compromise. It also helps to define simple threshold-based alerts on data that you collect from IoT devices and also IoT hubs. And it helps to define alerts based on advanced queries across all IoT data. This method is actually devices or a hub, so as well as relevant ASC data in Azure Logs Analytics. So as you can see, like most of the things, they actually comes together on the Azure Sentinel. This is basically a new cloud native solutions, right? So what makes Azure Sentinel good is that it helps to make it easy to collect security data across your entire hybrid organization. And what it could do to actually replace your traditional SIEM is that it also proven to be expensive to, which also proven to be expensive to own and operate. Azure Sentinel basically reduce this cost to actually provision and manage to even operate the whole dashboard. All right, and obviously in traditional SIEM, it actually requires you to commit upfront and also incur high costs for any infrastructures maintenance and data ingestion. So again, Azure Sentinel has no upfront cost. You only pay what you use. And additionally, you actually can ingest data from Microsoft 365 audit logs, Azure Activity Logs, and also alerts from any Microsoft Threat Protection solution at no additional cost. Now, yeah, we have actually just discussed the importance of protecting your organization from external threats. So it's just as important as to protect your own sensitive data, such as your IPs, your customer PIIs, as well as your employees create and share information both within your company and outside your corporate boundaries. So before we go into how Microsoft can help, so let me just explore a little bit on the three underlying challenges that you need to solve in terms of protecting informations. All right. So the first point is that we need to discover the sensitive data that resides in your hybrid environment. We need to understand the usage and also design a protection plan based on those insights. Then we have to pay special attention to how your data leave your company from multiple egress points, especially with employers working from home, and how to prevent data loss and oversharing. And then third, we have to understand the risk from insiders, employees, or other vendors who may actually act maliciously, such as intentionally steal your intellectual property, turning off security controls, or even harassing others at work, right? Or even causing an risk like broadly sharing what you are working on. So Microsoft Information Protection and Insiders Risk Management Solution can actually help you solve each of these challenges. So yeah, let's start with your first challenge as to knowing and protecting sensitive data that resides across your hybrid environment. So this is basically a bedrock of our solution, and it is also our comprehensive set of automatic data classification methods. Especially notable are our classifier that leverage machine learning to automatically identify and also classify sensitive content at a scale by using pattern matching methods. This may be content that you would not easily find otherwise, such as patterns, contracts, or even resumes, right? Then once you know your data, you can actually benefit from using our built-in labeling and also protection experience in the core of your productivity solutions. Apps like Words, Excel, PowerPoint, or services like SharePoint, Exchange, and Power BI, actually utilizing these core workloads instead of a bolt-on plug-in experience. So this not only lower your costs by eliminating deployment and maintaining additional software. At the same time, it also deliver better performance by not having to load add-ons every time your user launches an app or services. Then we look at Microsoft Information Protection that the development teams have created a platform which further extend our classification, labeling, and protection experience in a consistent way, even to non-Microsoft app services and file types. So this is all by using our SDK. Our 200 plus industry partners will also help to create a further customer value, such as enabling users to open encrypted PDF files in the Edge browser. I believe you might have noticed this. You can now actually open a PDF file, encrypted PDF files in the Edge browser. And of course, the Adobe Acrobat Reader, or allowing them to label and also protect the CAD artifacts. So these are two of the approximately 50 products integrations that is available since the general availability of the SDK in November 2018. So yeah, we have covered information protection for your productivity apps and services. So we have also built in encryption into the Microsoft 365 app services, as well as data protection into Azure. And this basically adds an additional layer of protection, which is available to you on top of what you have just seen in the past few slides when you actually store your data in Azure. And the encryption built into Azure protects your data while at rest, in transit, and in use. So now that you have actually understand your sensitive data, as you design your protection plan, you actually need to pay attention to the risk of external data loss, right? So most of your employees access data from multiple device and location, right? With users working from home now, you also engage with multiple external business partners. So these are the touch points that expose you to the risk of oversharing or leaks, whether it's accidental or intentional. So as a part of the information protection solution, we also offer data loss prevention capabilities. And these capabilities automatically classify your data and apply the correct information protection policy across your on-premise and also cloud collaboration environment in a way that that is really consistent, fully transparent, and also auditable. And this ensures that sensitive information will only be used within approved regulatory and also internal policy security contexts. And all these action outside of this context will be automatically be blocked, which prevents accidental or inappropriate sharing of information. So again, data loss prevention is a deep integration within the security stack that creates a holistic and clearly differentiated information protection solution in the market. Because what it does, it provides you a full control and auditable form policy of creations, to policy enforcement, to incident remediation, and also user education. Right. So these comprehensive data loss prevention capabilities are also universally available in Microsoft 365 desktop apps like Words, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlooks, services like Teams, Exchange, SharePoint, and OneDrive. Right. So at the same time, you may also notice that some of these functions can also be extended to third-party apps like Box, Salesforce, and some other services that uses the Microsoft 365 Security SDK. So in terms of the data loss preventions, we also enable you to automatically block the sharing of chat messages, the emails, the documents that contains the sensitive informations. It also ensure that user remain fully productive and aware of policy violation via policy tips and notifications, which explain why content they shared was blocked, specific compliance violation, and how they can address the issue in the future. So again, this the DLP actually supports provisions for activities deemed non-compliant by an applicable policy that needs to be allowed due to a business reason, while at the same time limiting workflow interruptions. So most of this business certification can be reviewed post-event to ensure that it is appropriate. So we also look at the insiders risk management as how it actually leverage across the Microsoft Graph and other services that to obtain native signals across Microsoft 365, Windows 10, and also Azure. So this includes most of the file activities, the communication sentiments, the abnormal users' behavior without the need to deploy endpoint agents, right? Additional third-party signals from human resource systems, such as termination dates or performance data, can also be included to further enhance the risk signal. Right. So this cloud security also implants a robust set of configurable templates, which also tailored to specifically for risks such as the digital IP theft, confident breach, confidentiality breach, and also potential security violation using machine learning, and also the intelligence to correlate the signals to identify the hidden patterns. Also the risk that traditional and manual methods might actually miss. All right. So what you can see is a comprehensive 360 degrees, which provides a curated and easy to understand visual summary of individual risks within your organization. All right. These basically also include things like historical timeline of relevant in-scope activities and trends associated with each identified user. So for example, you can see if a user submitted their resignation, then downloaded some files and then copied them into a USB device. So this life cycle actually helps to help the security team to see if this user is actually doing something that's right or wrong, right? You can immediately remediate these kind of issues, right? So how we actually do that is very simple. The system actually evaluates uh, whether any of these files contain classification labels, as well as a sensitive information or sensitive labels from Microsoft Information Protection. And of course, with the right permission, most of these security investigators, they can actually view files accessing from Microsoft Cloud resources like SharePoint Online, and we further assist to risk determination, right? So finally, what we can see is that many organizations is already leveraging existing SOAR, we known as the security orchestration, automation, and also the response system to log and also classify incidents by impact, and also urgency to prioritize action for those assigned to them. And we can also see certain integrations with ServiceNow, which provide the ability for insiders risk management case manager to directly create a ServiceNow ticket for any incident managers. Right, this ticket can be customized to add information about description of the incidents with a link to the case for more detailed insight. So in addition, we can also push insiders risk management alerts to Microsoft 365 Activity Management API. So this sort of alerts actually contains information such as alert severity and status, whether it's actually inactive, investigating, resolve, or even dismisses status. So most of these security incident event management system like Azure Sentinel can then consume these alerts to take further action, such as disabling user access or linking back to the insider's risk management for further investigation. So then we actually look at the infrastructure's side of the cloud security, right? So most of what the parameters that we are bounded by, the infrastructures, the data, the app built, and also things that are run in the cloud, they are actually foundational building blocks for a modern business, right? So as most of this usage of cloud services continue to grow, basically the cyber risk and threat also evolve alongside with the growing demand, right? So Microsoft is actually in a very unique position as a cloud solution provider, at the same time as a security vendor. We actually leverage global cloud scale, trillions of signals, and also deep expertise in industry-leading solutions, security solutions to help protect your cloud resources. And most of these solutions has been developed to protect every layer of cloud across the SaaS, the IaaS, the PaaS. So regardless of which cloud or which cloud app you use, doesn't matter it's from AWS to Azure to GCP, to any line of business app, we actually build most of this comprehensive security to protect your cross-cloud environment. So again, we have actually taken a threefold approach to cloud security. So our cloud access security broker provides a centralized approach to control and also protect the flow of data and also access to and critical data across any cloud app in your organization. We do this on Microsoft, even on third-party apps, on custom apps, all of which are critical to your businesses. On the second point, our cloud security posture management and also cloud workload protection platform, it provides an approach to realize integrated visibility, a posture management, and also a protection across cloud. So again, whether it's Azure or AWS, this solution will help you ensure the secure cloud environment. And lastly, we look at also application security for developers, where we actually provide tools in the clouds from development to operation, which actually empowers you to build secure application faster and also ensure your data is protected throughout its life cycle. So conferring on the cloud app security, right? So the cloud app security has been actually recently recognized by Gartner as a leader in the cloud access security broker. As part of the Magic Quadrant, is a multi-mode CASB that delivers a new generation of security solutions, which is essential to any modern security strategies, right? So data from the our CASB actually shows that in an average enterprise, users leverage more than 1,000 cloud apps and services, so half of which actually go unmonitored by IT. Right? This also meant that this app go unmanaged, which leave the organization exposed to security and compliance risks. All right. So what Microsoft Cloud Access Security Broker give you is the rich visibility into your shadow IT by helping you to discover and control cloud apps, and also enable you to identify and remediate cloud native attacks, right? Which in terms also allows you to control how your sensitive data travels and get used across all of your cloud apps to enhance security posture of your critical apps and resources. So whether you use Microsoft or non-Microsoft, we have everything covered. So let's look at the, yes. So when we also look at the security center within Azure, we continuously assess the security state of your cloud resources across virtual machines, networks, apps, and also data services, right? Even monitor servers workloads running in the clouds. Not necessary to be Microsoft Cloud, it can be any other clouds, on-premise data centers. Basically, the cross-cloud capabilities also help you to visualize your security state and quickly get insights of your configured security controls. Right. So the Azure Security Score that is implemented inside the ASC will actually help you to provide insight into your current state, and also it recommend action to help prioritize steps that you need to take to improve your security posture. This is one of the scoring system offer that is best, that actually provide the best practice, the guidance, and recommendation that helps to prevent common misconfiguration, such as your exposure of sensitive resources to the internet, or the lack of encryptions, uninstalled updates, or missing firewalls for your cloud workloads. And at the same time, the Azure Security Centers also allows you to set your policies to run on management groups, across subscription, or even for an entire tenant. Right? It also helps you to perform the hardening task, which we recommend as a security best practice, and also implement them across your machines, data services, and apps. So today, you can actually use the Azure Security Center to receive recommendation not only from Microsoft, but from existing partner solutions that are part of Microsoft Intelligent Security Association. Basically, the ASC will help to simplify onboarding flow that can connect your existing solutions, which enables you to view your security posture recommendations in a single place, and also running unified reports and leveraging all of the Azure Security Center capabilities against both built-in and also partners recommendations. So during your organization. So this one, I think we have actually covered this earlier, but let me reiterate that cloud workloads protection is definitely a key element to our cloud security approach, right? So as from what I've actually shared in the beginning, our integrated set of solution and capabilities that offers built-in zero trust controls, it actually makes implementing a zero trust security model across your organization achievable at a scale, right? So let me just walk through how all of these pieces work together. So at the heart of your zero trust strategy, you actually need a policy engine to make dynamic access decision for trusted user at a critical checkpoint, right? So to access to networks, apps, and data. So our identity and access management solutions will enable your organization to verify users and also the devices to explicitly, by using rich signals, and of course, such as the device health, the sign-in risk, to make informed decision based on access policies. And then our information protection and also cloud security solutions help to enforce decision and also protect resources across the entire environment in real time. And finally, our threat protection solutions provide intelligence for further strength to further strengthen your security posture, and also help with the detection and remediation of threat using automation and AI. So taken all together, Microsoft Intelligent approach, it actually ensures that only the right people are getting the right level of access across your organization, elevating both security and also end users' productivity. So earlier we have actually discussed how Microsoft Identity Access Management, Trust Protection, Information Protection, and Cloud Security technology can actually help to improve your business security program, and also support your zero trust journey. And obviously, it actually reduce your overall risk. So most of these advanced capabilities, it will provide a critical check against the emerging threat landscape, but that's only if your security teams can use them in an effective and efficient way. So we have actually talked about the posture management in the cloud security section. It is also is actually a valuable next step to further strengthen your security environment against this threat. So what we actually have in Microsoft is that it is known as the Microsoft Secure Score. It gives you the visibility and the guidance that you need to learn how to better secure your environment and take full advantage of the Microsoft security products. It is actually a guide to help you identify your current state and plot out the plan to take it to the next level. So if you look at the secure score, it actually quickly assess your risk exposure and also the security state across the entire enterprises. It uses a scoring system that gamifies the process of improving your security posture. So meaning to say, the more controls you implemented, the more score you actually reach, right? And then with Microsoft 365 and Azure, you have access to a broad suite of security technologies and a vast range of control options to help you better secure your environment and to help you better to take advantage of all these controls that is available to you. Secure Score actually provides threat prioritized guidance that will enable you to take a prioritized approach to improving your posture. Basically, the machine learning stack will actually give you recommendation based on the latest threat intelligence, which also help to assess the security benefits to your environment. And again, the secret score makes it easy to determine which control that has been fully implemented, the risk that they actually mitigate, the potential user impact, and also with new planning and collaboration workflows, you'll be able to drive the posture improvement policy. So again, what is the right score for your organization? So while most of you may hope to achieve 100% score, it's actually probably not realistic for many organizations, especially those with the legacy infrastructure or apps requirements that are incompatible with certain types of security controls. So to help you better identify this right score for your organization, Microsoft actually provide a benchmarking capabilities that helps to enable you to compare your score to the global average of organization that's similar to yours. Basically, those in the industry, seat size, and other metrics. So the use of these benchmarking capabilities to find the sweet spot for your organization and to motivate yourself to rise up to the next level and beyond your peers in terms of security. All right, and finally, to help your security administrator to drive productive posture management discussion with most of the leadership and also the CISOs, we include metrics and trend views so that your administrator can report project statuses to take credit for the great work they have actually achieved. And additionally, anyone with just who is just started with Microsoft Secure Score can use the tools to present the importance of your posture management and drive ongoing efforts to boost your posture over time. Right. So yeah, there you have it. So just to recap what we have covered so far, Microsoft 365, they actually provide a holistic security that align to these four pillars. The first one being the identity and access management, which to help protect users' identity and control access to valuable resources based on user risk level. Then the second one, you have information protection, which help to ensure documents and emails are seen only by authorized people. Then threat protection, which help you to protect against advanced threat and also recover quickly when attacked. And cloud security, this will actually help to safeguard your multi-cloud resources. So again, we kind of like do all this by helping enterprises and businesses to secure corporate data and manage most of the risk today in today's world, basically a mobile first and cloud first world. So Microsoft 365 E5 enable customers to digitally transform by unifying user productivity and also enterprise security tools into a single suite that enable the modern workplace. So to sum it all, Microsoft security is very much an intelligent security built in and is not bolted on. It is simply a fact of life today that security should be built in every layer of enterprise. And secure by design is very much an essential mantra for all of the industrial companies if we were to avoid cyber chaos in the future. So basically that ends my presentation for Microsoft security. I would also want to show you guys a short video where you actually demo how most of these security modules are being used.
To keep business moving forward, employees today need to access their bank's resources and applications from many locations and devices, including personally owned devices. Spencer, the managing director of investment banking for Woodgrove Bank, is working on an IPO deal that includes information about Fabricam. To access his documents from home, he needs to sign into the bank's Microsoft 365. This is the first time he's signing in for the day, so he has asked for additional verification to confirm his identity. He can do that with the Microsoft Authenticator app on his phone, having already gained access via a 6-digit PIN or a biometric signature enrolled in the mobile device. Providing extra verification, also referred to as multi-factor authentication or MFA, is easy and painless, but protects the bank. If Spencer's password is compromised, a would-be attacker will still need Spencer's phone with his PIN or biometric information to access the company's files. Many of the bank's documents require different levels of security classification. Ensuring that the right people have the right access to the right information requires controls that grant access only to resources that are necessary for their role or department. Spencer has been copied on an email from legal with new information on the IPO deal with a link to a document saved in SharePoint. He attempts to open it, but since it is located on the legal team's site, he doesn't automatically have access to it. Even as one of the legal team grants Spencer access, Azure AD is confirming Spencer meets the conditions required to access this document. Conditional access policies enable your IT team to assess risk in near real time and allow dynamic access to resources as roles and responsibilities or conditions change. This proactive control can help you ensure users do not have blanket access to the bank's resources. Depending on profiles regulating aspects such as time, location, and device health, conditional access can restrict or even block access to apps and data, particularly if these access patterns are suspicious or very different from a user's normal behavior. Spencer is on the way to a meeting and wants to catch up on email while in transit. Previously, Spencer had downloaded the Microsoft Outlook mobile app and configured his Woodgrove Bank email account using MFA on his phone to verify his identity. Since the bank uses Microsoft Intune to manage mobile devices and mobile applications, Spencer can install work applications on his personal phone while keeping the bank's information secured, allowing him to be productive while away from the office. With access to his email, Spencer begins to read through new messages. One email provides feedback on a draft document regarding the IPO plan. The document is marked confidential. Spencer can read the confidential document, but is prevented from saving it to his phone. The bank can help secure access to sensitive data on personal devices by restricting actions users can take, such as copy-paste, save, and view. Spencer sees his ability to save directly to unsecured areas of the phone is disabled. Microsoft Intune offers Spencer the peace of mind that his personal information is isolated from organizational IT awareness. So, things like his call records, web browsing history, personal photos, and contacts are not visible to the bank's IT department. Implementing policies and programs rarely happens in isolation. Employees need to exchange information to collaborate and innovate on daily activities. However, as information is shared, vulnerabilities increase. Information barriers, or ethical walls, can also be put in place to help ensure potential conflicts of interest are managed seamlessly and information flows only between appropriate teams. For instance, separating research teams from investment bankers. Let's look at some of the ways that Microsoft 365 can help you securely share information while reducing the risk of accidental or intentional leaks. Spencer has finished updating the draft Fabricam IPO plan and wants to send it to legal for review. The plan contains information about the IPO that is highly sensitive and must be kept confidential. It is certainly not ready for the general public. He attaches the document. Spencer then encrypts the entire email. This encryption helps ensure that the email is only readable from the inbox of the directly intended recipients and that the attachment is also encrypted. If this document is downloaded and copied to a USB drive or an untrusted device, the document will remain protected. At the top, Outlook reminds Spencer how encryption will protect the email. The encryption can also prevent the recipients from forwarding the email. This applies to both internal and external recipients. This built-in encryption helps the bank's commercial deal team remain compliant by preventing intentional or accidental sharing of emails and information. Encrypted messages can be set to expire or be revoked as needed in line with data retention policies. And these encryption actions are logged and auditable to help meet compliance obligations. Woodgrove provides investment banking services not only to companies like Fabricam, where it is acting as a transfer agent, but they also offer wealth management services where analysts guide customers in making the quality investments for their goals. Accidental sharing of information between these divisions of the business can raise conflicts of interest and create bias in their judgment. Spencer, while working on the valuation of the Fabricam IPO, wants to ask a colleague her opinion. He knows Allie has lots of experience in this industry. When Spencer attempts to chat with her from Teams, he can no longer send information to her. The existing chat record is locked to read only, and he can't find her contact information in the user directory if he searches for her. He will later find out she got a new role with wealth management, informing consumers and investors about investments, and can no longer interact with the investment banking group. Information barriers in Woodgrove's Microsoft 365 system have created digital enforcement of ethical walls, removing the easy access that makes Microsoft 365 a powerful tool for collaboration. Spencer writes an email to his senior management colleagues to update them on the IPO. He extracts information from the updated IPO plan. Then he quickly creates a new document. When he is ready to send the document, he notices that it is automatically labeled as IPO Confidential. Microsoft 365 has added digital protections and watermarks to aid in the proper handling and disposal of printed copies. The bank has configured policies to automatically classify, label, and protect data based on its sensitivity. In this case, along with the classification label, the document is also automatically protected with rights-based permissions. This protection follows the data, ensuring it remains protected regardless of where it's stored or with whom it's shared. So, even if Spencer accidentally sent this to the wrong recipients, the receiver would not be able to view the content, saving the bank from a compliance incident or worse, becoming an accidental headline. Data protection can also be managed when documents like this are uploaded to a third-party app using Microsoft Cloud App Security, our cloud access security broker offering. Microsoft 365 information protection solutions help ensure that important information is only accessible by those who are authorized to receive and view the information, and that critical data is not accidentally released or deleted. Policies can be customized and leveraged to automatically secure data according to compliance needs. Microsoft also offers templates that make it easier to comply with common laws, such as General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, UK, Personally Identifiable Information Data, and PCI Data Security Standard, PCI DSS. The admin is creating a policy to detect U.S. financial data. Policies can be applied across Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Exchange Online, and Microsoft SharePoint. This policy will watch for attempts to share U.S. financial data types outside Woodgrove Bank. This policy will send reports when sensitive data is shared. It could also block or require encryption. The new U.S. financial data policy has been created and starts in a testing status. Next, the administrator will work with data retention policies. Rules and regulations often require that documents be retained a specific amount of time. Accidental deletion of content covered by regulations can quickly become a complex legal problem. Microsoft 365 provides tools to aid in enforcing data retention policies. It retains not only the files, but versions of files covered by a policy. The document library where the IPO team keeps its shared files automatically applies a label that will retain the files on Woodgrove's system the required amount of time. This aids in keeping the bank in compliance with current regulations. The same labels that are applied to the IPO document library can be applied to individual content in other locations to aid compliance with retention policies as the information is shared on the bank's systems. Banks face a growing number of threats from increasingly sophisticated cyber attacks. Disclosure or loss of employee, customer, or deal data can erode trust in your institution and impact the share price. Microsoft Threat Protection is designed to help secure the modern organization from the evolving threat landscape by offering comprehensive, advanced, and integrated security across multiple attack vectors. Phishing is one of the most prevalent forms of attacks. These attacks have become more sophisticated. Fake, phishing emails are difficult for most users to recognize when the links and attachments are constructed to look legitimate. Solid user education and services to stop these attempts before the user can interact with malicious content are important steps in preventing these attacks from being successful. Here, Spencer has received an email that appears to be from the bank's general counsel. When Spencer opens the attachment, the text inside explains why the original attachment was removed. If this were sent to other users in the bank, it would also be removed from their inboxes. Spencer sees another email with an urgent message. As soon as he clicks the link, Office Advanced Threat Protection Safe Links activates. ATP Safe Links opens and detonates the link in a secured session to check for malicious content. It finds malicious content in the link and gives Spencer a warning notification that the link was malicious. This helps prevent malicious content, such as ransomware, from being downloaded to Spencer's computer proactively, preventing a data breach or credential harvest, and helping to save the bank from a potentially damaging and expensive breach. If Spencer or others fall victim to phishing or other attacks, the bank's IT team needs to be able to automatically respond and investigate quickly. Microsoft Threat Protection leverages one of the world's largest threat signals available from the Microsoft Intelligence Security Graph. Advanced automation powered by artificial intelligence, AI, to enhance incident identification and response aids security teams to resolve threats accurately, efficiently, and promptly. Machine learning also helps us to link together individual signals, then correlate related events to provide important context. The Microsoft 365 Security Center provides a centralized hub and specialized workspace to manage and take full advantage of Microsoft 365 intelligent security solutions. Should an attack happen, Microsoft Threat Protection automatically acts to protect the user and the entire organization. Here we see that one or more users have clicked a malicious link. Microsoft Threat Protection has automatically started an investigation and taken actions to protect that user and the other users in the bank. The emails containing the malicious links have been soft deleted. This means the links have been removed, and depending on the amount of malicious content in the message will be removed and placed in quarantine. This way, admins still have access to the message for any litigation or compliance requirements, but the threat to users and the organization is neutralized. Any users who manage to click the link before neutralization have been recorded. This gives the admins the ability to target education for these users. Automated incident response will be one of the most important elements of your security solutions. Automation can help mitigate more threats in real time, reduce the time for detection and recovery, and ultimately improve the efficiency, accuracy, and overall security for the organization. Just as important, it frees up time for the organization's key security operations to focus on more complicated problems and can contribute to lower costs for managing information security.
Yep. So there you have it. This is how we actually use Microsoft Security to help to secure your identity and also data across your organization. Yeah, basically this is just a demo that I have. So Leilot, I think we are good to go with the Q&A session.
All right. Thank you so much, Melvin, for the very informative presentation. Um, Hello, everyone. It's so nice to gather you all here. It's been a while. So we've gone to the second to the last part of the webinar, the Q&A. So feel free to raise your hands and to type your questions in the chat box. So we have here the first question. How do Microsoft helps its customer in the awareness training of its users regarding cybersecurity? Like cybersecurity awareness training, phishing campaign, and etc. So that's
All right.
our first question.
All right, cool. So normally what Microsoft would actually do is that they do have something called a Cybersecurity Awareness Month, where they would actually publish a lot of blogs regarding cybersecurity. And part of this campaign is to create awareness, especially to not just customers, obviously partners as well, because partners are the ones that you know should indirectly help out to educate most of the customer about what cybersecurity is. So in terms of documentations, you can also check on the Microsoft website. They do have all this documentation meant for end users. Especially right now, due to COVID, they actually publish some documentation as to how users can work from home and at the same time utilizing all these Microsoft products. So cybersecurity is part of it. That's how they actually spread awareness, basically on how you can make sure you secure yourself in case of any identity theft, or make sure that you don't actually fall for any phishing scams. Again, for partners, there are also something called the Cybersecurity Awareness Kit, which you actually can download from the Partner Center. So these are most of the tools, or even um, documentation on awareness training that you can use to educate your customers. And on the Microsoft solution side, if any of your customers want to know how they can evaluate the whole company as to how the users will react to the cyber attack, you can actually propose to utilize licenses like Azure ADP1 or P2. Normally, it's a P2, which actually give you a function that you can use to simulate attacks. Okay, normally phishing attacks. um, from there, you can actually measure how these users react to these kind of cyber attacks. And using all these reports, customers, managers can actually evaluate what are the possible solution or even licenses that they will require to help them to secure their identity and also data within their organization. So does that answer your question?
And added to that, on our part as well, data, this webinar is one of our campaigns to raise awareness, um, like this, to raise awareness regarding cybersecurity. We have another question here, I think, from her question is, do you have Wombot?
No, actually, Wombot is not really part of the offerings. But I cannot say if they do have any SDK implementation that can actually bridge over, because most of the solution that we have is actually through Sentinel, Azure Sentinel, and we actually utilize API graph and also the SDK deployment tools to do a bridging. So I don't have any information if actually Wombot can be actually integrated.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Actually, we also collated questions prior to this webinar. So I'm just gonna ask some of the questions we collect. Like question number one: Our business is small. Are we going to be impacted by cyber threats or phishing attacks?
Well, to be honest, no business is small. Hackers normally would actually love to target small businesses because first thing is that the assumption is that most of these small businesses will not have a proper security defense, right? So most of these security breaches, they are actually happening at small businesses, and I can say that based on the research that they have, 95% of the reported credit card breaches or even financial breaches, right? They all comes from small company, right? So I don't think any businesses is small not to think about cybersecurity. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your answer. Another question is, why do we need to add security features? I thought Microsoft Cloud, such as their subscription, which is M365 Business, is already secured.
Mm. Yep, you are right. Majority of the things are already secured, but you have to think about where exactly these things are secured and which part of the segment that is secured. So by norm, most of the Microsoft products, they are secured in the server level. Okay, but those are only the basic protection that you get, right? It's only a basic protection. Like just for example, I give you Exchange. Okay, basics protection that you get is the EOP, which is the Exchange Online Protection. It does cover some sort of a spam protection. It does but this doesn't do filterings. Okay, if you have things like malware filterings, you have phishing links filtering, those are on a different a solution, right? So that is why we consider them as an add-on. So you can also consider that majority of Microsoft subscription services, they are a turnkey product which has also a protection, but again, they are very much on the server side, and you know and most of these basic protection doesn't protect you from human errors or even negligence. Hence most of these addition add-ons are required to help you reduce your attack surface and adding more security parameters. So like from what you saw in the video earlier, all right, you have sensitivity labels, you have what we call as an exchange policy, where you can limit what kind of email can be sent, what kind of attachment can be included. So all these are considered as an add-on, right? Yeah.
All right. I have another question here. Is Microsoft Defender AB really as good as third-party antivirus solutions?
Well, I can't tell you that it's 100% that's good. Okay, so generally most of the antivirus are all the same. They basically do what they do, and what they claim to stop viruses, malware, and some sort. It may include certain firewall features, but what they may actually lack of is a control plane. So if you look at how Microsoft is planning their how their security strategy is, that no doubt, yes, they are trying to emulate most of the functions that the other antiviruses like Symantec, McAfee, Avast, yeah, they do try to emulate functions. But what features that is being added more into is a centralized control, right? You have reporting, you have AI preventions, remedial process, all in one place. So again, when you think of AI, right? So whenever someone are actually using a Microsoft product, let's just say most of your laptops might already have something like antivirus essential or a Microsoft Defender by its own, but those are very basic. But just don't look down on those, because they are considered somewhat of an IoT that collects most of these signals. If they detect any viruses, they kind of send these strings or patterns or behavioral information back to Microsoft. That's how we collect all this signal and kind of make the defender better. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Okay. Another question. Is Office 365 or Exchange cloud exempted or protected from attacks from last month's exploits on-premise Microsoft Exchange servers?
Yep, totally aware of that. That is one of the very bad incidents that happened. But rest assured that the Exchange Online, they are actually protected. So we do not have any reports of any issues with the Exchange Online so far. So very much of this is that most of the on-prem servers, it could either be due to patching. It could be actually be yeah, like you said, it's actually a zero-day exploit. So yeah, we don't have any reports on the Exchange Online that they are affected at all. So yes, they are protected from the attack.
All right. Another question. Do you have assessment tool to check the security of the tenant?
Yes, they do. Okay, so when we look at the security assessment, there are two ways of doing it. One thing is that I know from Microsoft, they also have a certain campaign where they provide cybersecurity assessment. I think it could be country specific, but I might have to find out on this. And the second way is actually to like what I mentioned earlier, we can try using the Azure AD tool, where it gives you a certain features within the security and compliance portal. You can launch a mock security attack. All right, you can do phishing attacks to actually measure. Of course, other than that, we also use the secure scoring to identify which segment that we are lack of in terms of security. So I would say the Microsoft tenant within Microsoft tenant itself, there's already a tool, a basic tool built in to check on your secure score. Right, it's all under the security and compliance center.
Next question is what will happen if we go full cloud,
Mhm.
productivity applications and added security, then we got disconnected to the internet? And yeah.
Okay. Yep. I totally understand the concern. Well, the reason why people actually go on full cloud is that they want something that fall back on, right? So which means to say that if your office suddenly have a brownout, right, or blackout, so you can't work. Basically, you can't work, you can't access anything. But because you have already moved to cloud, you still have your data online. So you can basically work off your mobile phone, your laptops, right? So if let's just say you get disconnected to internet, I'm pretty sure that most users would still have a fallback, maybe like your mobile broadband access, right? You can still continue to use tethering, by tethering to your machines, and you can still access your data that is already stored on the cloud. So most of these productivity applications, they are actually activated on computers, so you don't really need the internet to really work or even to authenticate your application to work. And majority of this data that you're already working on may have already been cached offline. So yeah, I mean, the functionality of requires access, but those configurations of security setups, you don't really have to worry about it because all these configurations are already being cached offline too. So again, um, even though like your office is offline, you are disconnected to your internet, you still have other fallbacks, right? Tethering on your phones or any data that is still being cached on your PCs, you can still work on it. So I don't really see a problem on that end actually. Does that answer you?
Yeah, all right. Nice answer. Last question that we got is, will my existing security devices work together with Microsoft 365 security?
Well, pretty similar to what the question we had earlier, like Wombot. So I would say yes and no, because again, when you're looking into things like Sentinel, which is the SIEM under Microsoft, it allows certain integration with third-party security devices and also application as well. So all these are being done via the API, SDK, and also the Microsoft Graph, right? So if you look into things like Microsoft Defender ATP, right, it actually integrates into existing security solutions as long there is a chance where API and SDK integration is allowed, right? So you can consider this is also a out of a box integration with SIEM, ticketing, and also ITSM solutions, or maybe integration that you can also use with a managed security service provider. And of course, like some of these devices, they also do reporting or logs, right? You can actually use things like Azure Sentinel to do logs ingestion, and obviously you can utilize all these functions to ingest data and come up with a report as long it actually supports the SDK and API, right? So yeah, so basically all these security devices, as long they are listed and able to support under Sentinel, you can basically use it to do automations in terms of investigation and doing external alerts, right? So yeah, I always, so my answer would be a yes and no. It really much depends on whether the solution that they use or the devices that they use is compatible to use the API and SDK of Sentinel.
Thank you so much to everyone who sent their questions.
While we're waiting for others to fill out the feedback form, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for joining and staying up to the top of the hour. And of course, thank you to our partners. Once again, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar, and congratulations to all the winners.
With a subscription to Microsoft 365 Business, you can run your organization in the cloud and let Microsoft take care of the IT for you. It can manage devices, protect against real-world threats, and provide the latest in business software. With a monthly or yearly subscription, you get productivity apps like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, business class communication with Outlook, Teams, and Yammer, cloud storage with OneDrive and SharePoint, plus business apps that help you reach and work with your customers. In addition to all this, you get an upgrade to Windows 10 Pro from Windows 7 Professional or later. You get the tools to update, manage, and protect your computers and devices, including the devices your employees bring to work. You can install Office apps on these devices, safeguard business data, and remove data if a device is compromised. When used together, you can grow your business with the latest cloud software and world-class protection by Microsoft.
Our Monopoly fans definitely keep us honest.
She actually flipped the board.
At Hasbro, we launch dozens of Monopoly games every year, and one thing that is consistent through all of those is testing. We did most of it at our headquarters, but when the pandemic hit, it was just kind of like, how are we going to do that?
Now we have testing through Teams.
It's enabled us to open up to the entire world.
Bonjour la famille. Different cultural backgrounds have a different understanding of a game, so you get more authentic feedback.
You roll those down.
You see boards flipping, but you see also a lot of laughter.
We're getting insights that we didn't used to get, like, does all of this fit on a coffee table?
I think it makes us much more collaborative.
We were able to concept, develop, and launch a game entirely through Teams.
In half the time we used to take. Teams is a new way for us to look at how we go forward in the future.
Modernizing your core business applications and databases with the cloud is key to simplifying operations and reducing costs across various industries. Streamline your migration to Azure by understanding how to navigate its distinct phases and by using the right tools to accelerate the process of moving, managing, and optimizing applications in your cloud environment. In the pre-migration phase, assess your applications to identify their makeup, dependencies, and configuration. Use assessment tools like Azure Migrate to discover insights for planning the migration. During the migration phase, start moving databases and applications from on-premises servers to your cloud destination environment or landing zone. Once you gain confidence, accelerate the process with tools like Azure App Service Migration Assistant and Azure Database Migration Service to evaluate the compatibility and configurations of your applications and automate their migration. Next, in the post-migration phase, apply any changes to your applications and perform functional tests to ensure your environment is working efficiently. Manage and maximize performance with cloud platform services like Azure App Service and Azure SQL Database. Finally, in the optimization phase, gather operations data and identify areas to fine-tune performance and optimize costs. Get personalized security and performance recommendations with management services like Azure Advisor. By using the right tools and knowledge for each phase, you can migrate your databases and applications efficiently and start taking steps to continuously optimize them with built-in CI/CD, auto-scaling, and more. Migrate with confidence by signing up for the Azure Migration Program today.